Hey, this is Chuck, and you are listening to Fans with Bands, the podcast where we talk to the fans and the bands they dig about life, music, and whatever the hell else we want to talk about. Today on Fans with Bands, we're talking to Jesus Chrysler Supercar. Check it out.
This meeting is being recorded.
Oh, there you go. Hey, this is Chuck with Fans of Bands, and I'm talking to Mitch and Matt from Jesus Chrysler Supercar. I had to say it slow because it's like I want to say superstar, but yeah. Thank you guys for coming on. I believe Chris Betts had reached out to me and said, "Hey, you want to talk to this band named Jesus Chrysler Supercar?" And I'm like, well, fuck yeah, I want to talk to this band. I'm like, that's a great name for a band. And you've got the music to back it up. That's the cool thing. It's like sometimes you get a cool band name, then you're like, the music is lacking. But you guys definitely have this really cool, like fucking harmonic energy that I think is like vital to rock music. And your new music, like Kamikaze and Two Sticks, super cool stuff. Love it. Kind of reminds me in some ways of like, I don't know if you guys remember a band called Mad at Gravity or another band called Earth to Andy. Earth to Andy was from Virginia, and I saw them open up for live, and they were awesome. I also hear a little bit of like Queens of the Stone Age, maybe a little Stone Temple Pilots going on. So anyway, thank you guys so much for being on Fans of Bands.
Cool, man.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Very awesome.
And I want to give a shout out to, so we got some fans on already. We've got Greg, who's sitting there over there with Matt. We've got Chris, another Chris, and then we have Chris Betts, who kind of helped set up the whole thing. So welcome,
They're all
Chris,
spelled
Chris
different,
and Greg.
so.
Yes.
They're all spelled different. So.
Awesome. Well, you know,
We got two K's and a C.
Yes, yes. Well, I'd like to kind of start at the beginning, and I know this is maybe old history for some of the long-term fans, but I'm new to your band. So, like, how did you guys start, and what was, how did each of you get into music?
Well, I can tell you how we started. Myself and probably it was me and a guy named Jamie, and another guy named Eric Goodman had a band called Big Love, which was back in probably 91, 92. And we did that for a little bit, and that went okay. And then when we decided to end that and start a new band, that was when we hooked up with Matt, and that was in 90, I think it was 91 or 92.
Nice.
I don't remember. I was going to Arizona State at the time. And then
Jason too.
And Jason, I did, and I met Jason first actually, because it was me and Jamie were playing with Eric, and Eric was also playing with Jason on the side, and then he just brought Jason in to meet us. It was a good time in Tempe because there was a lot of bands happening right now. The Gin Blossoms had just kind of taken off.
Nice.
Dead Hot Workshop was doing pretty well. They were just because Dead Hot kind of maybe my timing could be off or my timeline, but I believe Dead Hot was on like the David Letterman show before the Gin Blossoms kind of took off. I think, but anyway, they didn't. They kind of, I don't know. That just I don't know how that all ended. I know that there was some the Gin Blossom stuff. They just got huge.
Yeah.
Their stuff so big.
Oh yeah, they were huge.
I remember hanging out in Tempe with Jamie. Watching these guys when we're hanging out in Tempe and they're walking around. I'm like, man, someday, man, someday. So.
Awesome. So how did you guys there's I feel like it's one thing to be into playing music and doing your own kind of musical creation, but there's another thing to get into a band. So what was the influence for you to want to play music for people as opposed to sitting in your bedroom jamming?
Let me take that one, Mitch.
Yeah.
I mean, we're of a certain age where I don't know if it was the same for Mitch. We didn't know each other back then, but I imagine it was. We grew up with visions of, or at least I did, of stadium rock, you know,
Yeah.
and listening to like just amazing music. And I know everybody from their own kind of, you know, generation likes to talk about the amazing music, but um we truly, wow, it was great, you know. And I'd sit around with vinyl records, and my brother was a real big audiophile, so he used to wake me up at like 2 in the morning after he'd been smoking some dope. And like, you know, I was 10 years younger than him, and he'd drag me into his, you know, room and slap some earphones on me to hear, you know, Asia by Steely Dan, or you know, some Elvis Costello or whatever he was doing. So so I grew up, you know, just dreaming about it. And when I was probably in, I don't know, third or fourth grade, I just had to have a drum set. Just had to. And back then there wasn't like a guitar center. And why I chose the
Yeah.
drums is probably because I was hyperactive as a kid. Well, so that's how it happened for me. And then everybody else was really into sports, and I would just come home, go down in the basement and woodshed, and you know, play along with these records. And they were records. I mean, they were vinyl, right? So,
Right. Right.
you know, so that's how I totally fell in love with it. And then I found out that I was okay at it, which was helpful. And then and then
Mine's a little different. Mine's a little different. My dad, my entire childhood, my dad was playing in bands in the Saginaw area, Tri-City, Michigan. Just they were playing constantly when I was a kid. I mean, my dad was actually in education, but he was a superintendent of schools for a while. But when I was growing up, you know, he was still playing in bands. They were still going out and playing. They had cover bands. And they were really good. And they had a band called the S Styles. This kind of a cool little band. And I've heard a bunch of other stuff.
Nice.
So and he's still doing it. My dad's 84. He just
Really?
turned 84. Yeah, he'll be 85 in April. And
Awesome.
still playing.
he's put out 2 albums in the last I'd say the last 4 years. He's put out 2 albums, and he's working on another. He asked me if I wanted to record some songs with him. So I'm like, yeah, man.
That's
So
awesome.
we've only actually really sung together one time. We went to like an open mic thing. We did like a couple Beatles covers.
Nice.
But he's a huge supporter, and he's done music with like Willie Nelson and Tammy Wynette. One of his another really good friends, a guy named Charlie McCoy, who's like a harmonica and multi-instrumentalist. He plays in the Grand Ole Opry and stuff all the time. So he's just super. He was always doing music, so I almost had no choice. I mean, I played every instrument. I played the guitar, the drums, bass, piano, all of it. And I'm horrible at all of them. So I just like by default, I'm like, I know I can sing. So because my dad's a good singer, I just got it. I'm
Nice.
like, I can sing without having to really practice.
Yeah.
So, I would have been great at guitar if I didn't have to practice. But
The other
I
thing
know.
is Mitch didn't
still
like
not practicing. I've been at this plateau but I thought it was about 12. I'm about just as good.
yeah, Mitch wasn't really he knew that he didn't want a future in like carrying equipment, you know, or like drum stands, and then
Right.
something about the girls liking the singers and all that
If it
stuff.
didn't fit in my pocket, I didn't carry it.
Yeah, right.
That's right. Yeah. I always envied the vocals.
Beer, weed,
Yeah.
whatever, the little baggies of stuff,
Yeah. I always loved it when, because
Fun.
when you're in a band with the singer would just walk in, with the mic, a little case, and it's like, what the hell? Come on. Well, the rest of us are carrying Marshall stacks and stuff around. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. I mean, if I wanted to be a bass player, I'd have bought a van. You know what I mean?
With free candy on the outside of it.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, I help carry gear occasionally. I mean,
Yeah.
Sure you did.
yeah, once or twice.
Nice. Well,
I carried the beer.
Yeah.
I carried the weight of the. I was the sex symbol of the band. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah, he carried the weight of the world. For sure.
Well,
man, it's a heavy burden.
as a fan, I probably carried in more gear for Jesus Chrysler than Mitch carried. Let's say
I
that for
guarantee
sure.
it. I guarantee it. Because Chris was 16 years old coming to our shows when he's, how can I get in? I'm like, well, the only way, there's only one way, and that's you got to carry
Yeah, that was
some
my way
gear.
too.
You
Oh,
got to
That was
carry
really?
my way.
some
I got
gear.
inside.
I guess be glad you were a man.
shows.
Yeah, right.
That's awesome. So,
Yeah.
so Chris and Chris, so you guys basically were the roadies for the band. Is that true?
Yeah, well, we weren't the actual roadies, but I started just my first show was one of the ones they had for one of the local stations, and it was 98 KUPD, and they were doing a showcase, and they had some local bands and on the side stage, and I was like, I'm kind of interested in who's playing over here. So
Yeah.
I just kind of ran into Jesus Chrysler's set right when they first started out. I had no idea who they were,
Was that you, Fest?
and I'm
This is
over
a
at
U
the
Fest,
98,
right?
yeah, the U Fest, yeah. And they just blew me away. I was totally taken away by what they were playing and how they were playing, how their whole setup was, and how they just took that energy and just made it flow. It was just so phenomenal. And then after that, it was just word of mouth to all my friends. Like, you guys have got to check these guys out. And then ever since then, I was like my first show, and I just started going to every show in Tempe, around the whole valley, Scottsdale, and trying to follow them around. And it was just, I just thought they were just phenomenal in what they did. So it was really a real. But then the roadie thing, yes, I was like going to their shows, and I
Got
said, "Hey,
thrown
let me get
into
her a
the
free
game.
show," and I used to just carry their instruments for them and stuff, and take it inside. So
That's cool.
it was an awesome time, especially in Tempe, where everything was kind of happening back then, and a lot of showcases that they've done. And I just followed them around and kept in touch with Mitch mostly, and then saw a couple guys up here in I live in Flagstaff actually,
Okay.
and I saw a couple of guys here in Flagstaff that were, they kind of just noticed me in one of the bars or whatever the shows, and they were like, "Hey, you're Chris, aren't you?" I'm like, "Yeah, don't you remember me? I was up here. I used to play I used to play drums for Jesus Chrysler. I played bass for them." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, how is everybody doing?" But yeah, that was after I think they disbanded. I think I moved from Phoenix at that time. By the time they disbanded, so it
That's
was kind of
cool.
sad to hear that they left. So,
So it's
but
your fault. It's your
Well,
fault we broke up.
I'm sorry.
Your fault we stopped recording it. You stopped doing anything in 2000. Way to go.
And just a little bit of background on Chris. Chris is, I mean, I don't know a lot of people that have the lifestyle that Chris does, but I don't think I've seen a weekend go by on any social media where he's not at some major festival. I'm not even
Yeah.
kidding. And he's not
Wow.
every. I
Yeah,
mean,
I was.
you have a great time, great life, dude. You have a lot of fun with it. And for you to just talking about our band the way positively the way you are, it's like you see a lot of bands play, and I don't think you throw around compliments just for the sake of throwing around a compliment. So I appreciate your word compliments.
Yeah, I just got back from the Warp Tour in Long Beach just this last weekend, so I'm
Nice.
kind of beat up, really tired. Yeah, just a lot of bands, a lot of people, nonstop walking, drinking, hanging out, partying.
Yeah.
Just it was just a great time. And then the weekends before that, I followed Metallica around for like four of their dates. Went around and went to like Houston, um, went to Los Angeles, actually San Francisco, and then went to Denver for two of their shows out there. And it's just been a great time. I just love following bands around, and everywhere I go, Jesus Chrysler Supercar is on my playlist every single time, and I introduce you guys' band to like a lot of my friends, and I say, "You got to listen to this. You got to listen to this band. You got to listen to this." And
That's
everyone's, "Oh
cool.
yeah, these guys are really really cool, man." I'm like, "Yeah, you should have waited. You should have seen them back in the day. They were just so awesome."
That's
How
I
many
awesome.
wish they would actually.
how many Jesus Chrysler shirts do you have, Chris?
I have about 10 of them. I have 10 of them. Some of them are makeshift ones. I actually I wore the t-shirts out so bad, I had to actually cut out the drawing, and I just relabeled it back onto some other shirts. So
Hey,
it was,
Nice.
then
well,
every
you
time
need to get,
I'm
you need to
sorry?
get yourself one of
I
these,
know,
man.
I need to get some.
Mitch,
That's awesome.
Always be selling, Mitch.
Hey,
all the time.
Baby.
All the time for them.
So
oh, ABS.
you bring up something that I wanted to talk about, Chris, and that's the fact that Matt and Mitch, Jesus Chrysler like started in the '90s, and then you took this huge hiatus, like 20 some years, but now you're creating some new music, which I think is fantastic. Like, what was the spark? What got that? I'm gonna guess you've always you've been jamming since, but it's like, what was the spark to do some new music for you guys?
We had a really good run for about what do you say, Matt? Was it about 10 years, 11 years? Where we started at what we came into this and it started off and it took off. We went really well, really fast. We made a lot of right decisions. We went recorded with a guy named Ed Rose in Lawrence, Kansas, and got a really good recording out of that. And Ed's done like the Chainsaw Kittens, and Tenderloin. I'm trying to think of some other
Cut Creek.
Stick, Kill Creek, a bunch of bands that were sort of in that I don't know, that pre-grunge sort of punk edge sort of. I don't know what you call it, hard, maybe post-hardcore. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we had this really quick. I think we kind of rose kind of fast through the ranks in our area, which and that went really well for a long time. And I think we got complacent. We got tired of. We'd all planned on something bigger, right? That wasn't the goal,
Right.
the finish line. And so we kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And Matt and I were like slave drivers. I swear. I mean, we were like a job for us. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
It was. I can't even say it was fun. It was fun, but it was just. I mean, we were working like constantly. There was 8 hours a day, calling attorneys, calling record labels, setting up tours, and we were going on tour all the time.
Yeah.
And so we were just working and working and working, and I think we missed a lot of cues from some of the other guys in the band that weren't happy with what we were doing or the way they were making decisions or things that we were doing. And so we had a record offer. We got a record. We had like a what do you call it? A demo deal with Columbia Records out of New York, and that fell through. And then we got picked up immediately by Island Records.
Yeah.
And then we were like super stoked about that because that's the label we want to be with anyway. And then about 3 months later, that fell through because of this merger with all the Seagram 7 merger, where they all the labels
combined,
came together. And when that happened, it was just like this. It just like someone just took all the wind right out of our sails. And we were just kind of defeated at that point. So we're like, let's give it one more run. We got this material that we have that they didn't want it, so we're going to release it on our own. And we did one final little tour. We went to the Midwest, and we had some bumps. There's a long story there. I'll let Matt tell that. But somewhere between Bowling Green and Arizona on the way back, the band broke up.
Yeah.
It was in Chicago.
Chicago. Okay, that's not between Bowling Green, I guess. But,
it's on the way.
It's around there, and it was sad, and I didn't know we'd even broke up. We got back to town.
I didn't either.
I got a phone call. I got a phone call that said, "Hey, I dropped the van off. You guys can go fuck yourselves, and I'll see you later. I hope I never see you again."
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I got the go fuck
Literally.
yourself phone call.
That was like that. And that was from our guitar player, Jason.
Oh, man.
I got that phone call too. I was I was in Milwaukee. The guys dropped me off in Chicago. My wife picked me up, came back up to stay for a couple weeks. I had my ticket back to Phoenix. We're gonna, be playing shows back there. And so I got that phone call too. It just said, "Yeah, Matt, this is Jason. Something along the lines of, I just wanted to call, let you know I'm done, and I don't want to talk to you motherfuckers ever again." Or so it's like something like that.
Wow,
And
it was brutal. And Jason is very cut and dry. He doesn't mince a lot of words.
Well, yeah.
And so that's how it ended. And was just stunned, and I'm like, he'll get over it.
Right.
And so a few months went by, he wouldn't take my calls, and me and Matt are trying to keep things, upbeat, and we'll figure it out. And that never happened. So we just kind of let go.
Yeah.
Got involved in some other bands and stuff. I started doing another band. And then, time just goes by, and over the time, I mean, I just was like, I never felt like we were done as a band. And I felt like I just really misread whatever was going on with Jason, because he's not somebody that quits anything. And I think we just pushed him to a point where he just couldn't take it anymore. So,
Yeah.
we all went through life for a while, and then we got ourselves stable and became adults. And I just started calling him up, bugging the shit out of him. I was actually working at Sterling Stamping in Detroit, and I started blowing up his email and asking him, just trying to be his friend,
Yeah.
because the entire time, as we were in the band, it's like, when I look back on it, I'm like, were we ever really friends? Were we friends, right? I don't know if we treated each other like friends. So when it fell apart like that, it makes you kind of look at how you treated people and how things happen. So I think a lot of it for him was just being recognized for what he was contributing, and we were looking past some of that stuff. At least I think that's kind of how I looked at it. So
Yeah.
we've patched things up, and Jason's a great guy, and we're good friends, and we were able to move forward and start doing some music again, which
It took 23 years to heal, Mitch.
That's
not for me. I was healed pretty quickly. Jason was a tough nut to crack, man. He was tough, man. He was tough.
Wow.
I had to work for that.
Wow.
Yeah. So then Mitch started sending me like some outtakes of him and Jason in the studio, and I was like, hey man, if you're gonna do Chrysler, like I want to be on some of these tracks. And so then he had
to change the name.
Yeah, right. Yeah. then he had to convince Jason that, that Jason wouldn't have to deal with me very much. So then then Jason, I think, was, like, whatever, fine. And then but it's fun. So they started, sending me this stuff, and we started punching out these songs. And I mean, they were really pretty well baked songs, but they've been pretty well baked songs by the time they get to me.
Okay.
It's different than back in the day when I would actually, participate in writing it, and
Yeah.
or at least structuring and stuff like that. But still, I mean, when I get real excited when I get stuff from Mitch and Jason. And and then I record the drums up here. Those guys take care of the rest down in Phoenix. And then we send it out to
Detroit.
In some cases out to Detroit, or the most
wow.
recent stuff. And then it gets mixed out. And so, like, Jay hasn't even had to, we haven't had to be in the same room together. So I think he likes that.
That's crazy.
Well, I actually talked to him recently about because I was talking about my dad a little bit ago. He actually has a practice pad up in Saginaw that he rents out to traveling bands. One of the many things my dad does. So he has a fully stocked rehearsal studio with amps, and about 20 different amps and drums and everything. So you just, bands come in there and play his house. And Jason goes to Chicago pretty frequently for business trips. And I'm like, well, we're going to have to get everybody together, the three of us, and in Saginaw. He's like, cool, man, I'm down. So, which is not something I expect him to be okay with. So,
wow, that's cool.
So we're going to, I think we'll have a little bit more involvement with Matt the next time we actually do some recording. Just, like Matt said, we'd kind of put the songs together, and then Matt came in a little bit later, but he put his signature on everything.
Nice. So,
and the guy producing our stuff now is a guy named Chuck Alkazian. He's in Detroit. He's actually mixing one of our songs right now.
Very cool. Awesome. So I was going to ask you, like, the songwriting process. I know probably back in the day you were probably jamming together. What is that like now? Is it just like coming up with some riffs and with Jason? Like, what is that process like for you guys now?
Jason will come at me with about 3 or 4 like songs kind of pre-written. They're not like fully written. They're just like a series of riffs
Yeah.
that are he's kind of vamping on a riff, and I'm like, yeah, this is great. They're all great. Great Jason, right? He writes really catchy stuff. So then we'll just kind of he comes in with a song and it's pretty much put together. It just will when I start riffing on it, the vocals and stuff, I'll come up with my melody parts, and because I always write the melodies first, and then I take the next 3 to 5 years to write the lyrics. But the melodies happen in about 10 minutes, so we'll put that stuff together, and then we'll kind of figure it out. This time around, we had another friend of ours that we knew that came in, and we tracked some drums with him to get the songs, to get the framework for everything, and so everything's put together.
Awesome.
But normally it would be 5 of us in a room hashing it out and yelling at each other and all that stuff. But
Excellent.
Yeah, didn't you guys share a studio with
pretty fun.
Zigzag? Was it Zigzag Black or Fred Green that you guys shared a studio with?
We shared a studio with neither one of those guys.
Oh, okay. They just happen to be there all the time.
Yeah, they were there a lot. We hung out a lot, but we shared a studio with a band called Bionic Jive.
That's right, Bionic Jive. Yeah.
Yeah, they were Winter's Heat before that. Bionic Jive was on Interscope Records. I don't know if you guys remember that, but they were kind of
Well, I know the label, but I wasn't sure of the band. That's cool.
Yeah, they were pretty heavy band, kind of like rap rock. They had several incarnations of the band. They were cool guys, good band, great band, really good band.
Nice. So, when we started, I was kind of throwing out some names of bands, but I always like to talk to the musicians themselves about like what they think their music sounds like. So, how would you classify the music that you guys are creating? What would you say if someone is like new to Jesus Chrysler, like what we are?
That one's super rough. I think part of the problem that we encountered, frankly, was that we put, while the songs stylistically sound similar, we would lay down stuff that was we weren't really stuck to one genre. And plus I might be the wrong person to ask because I'm not like an audiophile like I was when I was young. So like I even when we were a band, like I just was so musiced out in terms of like that's all I was doing, that like I was just not, I wasn't like authors, some of them aren't avid readers.
Yeah,
So during that time, like I wasn't really an avid listener. I know Greg is new to the music and he's an audiophile, so maybe I don't know what do you think?
That's part of the problem. You guys, I could see lots of influences. I could kind of hear a little Southern rock. I could hear a little almost like ska, almost kind of feel in some choruses. I could feel all kinds of different influences. And I guess that's one of the things I'm really attracted to in the music, that there's not an easy label to put on it. And I love music that draws upon all these different sources and throws it into the mixer and puts their own stamp on it. I guess that's what I love most about the band.
And the funny that you would say that, because the reason that we lost our record deal with Columbia Records is that they said we were too derivative. Because the first record that we did, the Supercar record, because the band was called Jesus Chrysler when we first came out, right? And then we discovered that there was another band about 200 miles, not 200 miles, about 100 miles south of where we were playing, that was called Jesus Chrysler back in the 80s. We had no idea, and I only lived in Arizona for a little while, So we're like, well, we got to change the name a little bit because we don't want to be those guys, or or the band that looks like we just borrowed somebody's name.
Right.
So we changed the name a little bit, just add the supercar to it, and but we were bugging the shit out of Columbia Records for probably 5 years. I mean, like literally, I called them every day. I became really good friends with one of the assistant to a vice president, and he loved us, and he kept trying to sell us to their label. And a guy named Kevin Patrick actually signed us. He signed like the Ramones and a few bands like that. And so that was just like, he told us, basically what ended up, we were just too derivative. We sounded too much like what was going on at the time, which nowadays would probably be a good thing, because they want everybody to sound the same now. So I was like, after that, we kind of made a concerted effort to not sound like anything. When everybody was going heavy, we said, fuck that, let's go more punk rock.
Yeah.
So we shifted away from the heavy stuff, and we started going more faster, and I don't know, faster and more. And Matt can play fast, so we went faster and more punk rock. And then we just never really. I don't know. I think it was a lot more fun just not having being boxed into this little. You got to play this style always.
Yeah. Well, I definitely, when Greg, when you were talking about the different genres, I was picking up on that as well. I was just trying to rack my brain as to what bands were sort of like what you guys sound like, because it is all over the place, and that's kind of what I thought maybe was the when you talked about like Columbia not wanting to pick you up. I was like, well, maybe that was it, because they couldn't really put you into a category, because there is a real big as much as I don't like to do it, because but it is sometimes useful to say, oh, that's a death metal band or whatever.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, but you also don't want to, as an artist, you don't want to be pigeonholed. You don't want to have to say, oh, we only do this. I want to be able to do whatever the fuck I want. Like, if it sounds cool and we like it, that's what we're gonna do. So
that's what we did, and it worked out really well.
I just call it rock when people ask,
whatever we wanted to.
When people ask what it sounds like, I just say it's rock, and I said you kind of got to listen to it and decide what it is for you. I mean, everybody wants a touchstone, and I agree. Like, I heard a little Stone Temple Pilots, like a Candlebox, but not, even like the quirkiness of a Primus.
Yeah.
But all in small doses.
Yeah.
I will say that I thought the music changed a lot from the very first album to their last album, right? I thought the last Land Speed was a little more poppier, and then definitely had more of a poppy, jumpy kind of. Especially, I mean, you're at the live shows, right? And they're in full Speedway gear and they're jumping up and down, and it just had like a more poppier vibe compared to when I first saw them with Funk Junkies at 4 years prior or 5 years prior. It was definitely more like grunge metal. It had that kind of edgier feel. And funny enough, Mitch, I went to Tower Records to try to buy your album and ended up buying that other band's CD that had your name. And I took it home and I played it, and I was like, what the hell is this? This music sucks.
Yeah, they were very punk rock, man. They were, I've had several emails from the guy from that band's son. He like calls up and he's trying to shame me for stealing their
right.
I'm like, hi, dude. I wish I had actually stolen it, but I didn't. I don't think he believes me, but whatever.
And we just added another Chris.
Yeah, I know. Another Chris popped in.
I didn't get the memo. I could change my name.
Greg, is your middle name Chris, maybe?
Let's have it be for tonight.
That's awesome. So, I want to open it up. I know that, Chris Johnson asked a question, but did anybody else have any questions for Mitch and Matt? If not, I can keep going.
Well, I got just a quick one. Is it at all liberating to you now that you perhaps don't have to write music that maybe you're not necessarily considering you have to replicate it live?
Well, my dream is to play these songs live at some point. I'm not dreaming. I want when every time that I write a song, I'm writing it to play live. Always. And I'm
Yeah, I'm just
writing it
wondering when you guys
to
are
try
gonna
to
play
get a
live.
reaction, and I'm writing it to this is how would how is this going to be perceived? I mean, because I know how I want it to be perceived, and I just part anybody who joins a band, I don't care what they say. A big part of why they joined a band is because they need that fix of like getting in front of people and getting some instant gratification for what you're doing. People telling you that you're doing a good job or something.
Yeah.
Your dad didn't hug you enough or something. My dad was great. I know nothing of it.
No.
But there's that part of it, and I really I would love to do that with this band again. I just we're Jason is deep in in his business, and Matt's busy, and I'm just the only one, man. I'm working a lot, but I'm trying. I would love to go out and play some shows. But
yeah, physically, if I
still
tried to play some of those older songs, I honestly, I'm not just being terrible about this, but I would not make it through. You would have to tell a very long story between each song. Because when you're writing stuff when you're 23 to 29, right? Like even some of that stuff, it's just like when we would play it live, I'd be like, oh man, what was I thinking? But now, like, I might have to actually get like a young drummer in a fat suit to like wear my hat to play some of those, because I just can't physically do it. Like a cornerback loses a step when he's 28 in football.
Yeah.
I've lost a good 7-8 steps, I would say. So.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It wouldn't take long. It wouldn't take long to get it back. I'd be willing to give it a shot.
That's right. Yeah.
We're okay to watch you play 3 songs in a whole set, Matt. That's okay. As long as you're live, that's all that matters.
Just a showcase, man.
Yeah, I'd do 3 songs. Sure. Hook me up.
There you go.
Yeah, that'll be great, man. That would be.
Yeah, I mean, we've had the opportunity, and people have been calling us to try to do shows, and I'm just like, man, I can't. It's not. I mean, I would love to.
Any other questions you guys might have for Mitch or Matt?
I have one.
Go for it.
I have one. Did you guys actually record or release a live recording of your Bad Company cover?
No, we should though. That was pretty good.
That was like the best. That was like the best cover I've ever heard. Every time I hear the original, and I always tell everyone, I says, well, you know what? Bad Company did a cover. I did a bad cover of Jesus Chrysler song. And everyone's looking at me, and I was like, you guys just nail that song. And that's like one of the best songs I've heard in a long time, especially that cover.
I feel like didn't Kid Rock or something do a cover of that? Also,
I remember. Yeah, I think
somebody did it also, like after we did. Not obviously not because we did it.
Yeah.
But it's a huge song. So I mean,
yeah.
I feel like Making Love by Bad Company.
Yeah, I love Bad Company. Yeah, that was the one.
And I thought we killed that song. We really did. That was our finale. That was our that was the end of the show, man. It was bad. I thought we did a good job. We should have covered that. We should have done a recording, but I had talked to Jason about it. I was kind of like, man, I feel kind of weird if we put it out now. Like maybe we missed the window on that one.
We actually did look into what that would cost, and it was at the time. So this is $1997.
Yeah.
So whatever the adjustment is, it was like $230K.
What?
Yeah, for the rights to record that song.
Holy shit.
So whatever that math is, all I knew is $230K. Yeah, that wasn't happening.
Yeah, we're never gonna be able to sell that many fucking singles.
No. Or t-shirts or gloves.
Yeah.
Well, now it just takes $77 on Spotify.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, we put it in Spotify dollars.
Yeah.
It's affordable. Oh man.
Very important. Of course, you could get about 1 million streams and get nothing. They just
Yeah,
you get nothing for it. Yeah,
I know.
that's the problem. Yeah,
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
zero. Of
Um,
course, that's got what is it worth like $9 billion or something. And you
yeah,
can't pay it. That's
yeah,
that's sad.
yeah. Well, yeah. And then they have the AI bands, that
Oh
aren't
my
really
God,
bands.
dude,
It's like,
what's
what
up
the
with that?
fuck? Yeah, I know.
And they're
I,
good.
yeah, well, yeah. Well,
That's the
it's
worst
sort of
part.
good, but it's also like because, as a photographer, I get super pissed when I see like some band that's gonna do AI covers. Instead of paying a artist, a human that is a true artist, you know, use AI to create something. I'm like, oh my God, just drives me crazy. So the fact that they have AI bands, I don't know what to think of that because it just like, does nobody really care about like real music or what? And
I
then I
think
start feeling like an old fuck because I'm like, well, maybe it's just me.
Yeah,
yeah,
I
but
think it's horrible.
I
I think
think
it's
that
horrible.
it's going to be it'll be a thing, for a while, I would imagine. And but I always feel like we've replaced floors in our house, and like because we had kids, we were always getting like it's not really wood, it's like a
Yeah,
fake laminate something.
yeah,
And it looks good, but there's a part in my head where I'm like, man, I really just want a wood floor. Like I just want a real authentic wood floor. So I don't know, maybe there'll be, musical purists who are gonna, only listen to human
Don't they
based.
have to like? I don't know, but don't they have to like disclose that they're an AI band?
I don't know if they do. Um,
Because I know that one of the bands that I was watching, I can't remember the guy's name, but he's a personality on social media, and he does like reviews of music and stuff. And he came out, and he was talking about how he put together a AI band, and they have like 1.7 million followers
Wow.
on Spotify.
right.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
been working, busting our asses to get like 25,000,
Right.
and it's like, and when I say busting our asses, I mean the people at Spark Street Entertainment have been busting their asses and spending money on us because we
And
sure
Chris,
shit couldn't afford it, and I wouldn't even know where to begin.
yeah.
But those, I mean, 1.7 million monthly listeners to your music. That's pretty fucking amazing.
Yeah, it
And
is.
I couldn't tell you a song that they sing. I couldn't tell you anything
Yeah.
about him other than he played some of the music, and I was like, listening to it, and I'm like, fuck, this is good. I mean,
Yeah.
good in the sense that I would never know that this is an AI band unless he had come out and told me. And I feel
Right.
like
Right.
1.699% of the people, million people that are following them probably don't even know they're an AI band.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm sure they don't, and I don't think they necessarily have to disclose it. But I do feel like, Matt, when you mentioned the wood floor analogy, which is I think is really good because I think there's a certain I know it from just being in around local musicians around here. I always want to say magicians sometimes, but um, they
Well,
they yeah, magicians, yeah. But they there is and it maybe it's the kind of music that I like, but it tends to gravitate toward people that like real wood floors. They really want to see the band, they want to experience that band, they want to get to know the band,
is
and
this, is this sort of like an analog versus digital kind of a
yes,
conversation?
yeah, sort of,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I definitely know that when vinyl, I kept all my records, from when I was a kid in the '80s. I still have the Pioneer turntable that I bought when I was 16, and I still use that thing, and I got another one behind me. But yeah, there's something about those things, and I think, we've gotten to this period in time where we had all the social media, all this kind of virtual bullshit that subtracted the real interactions of humans, right? And especially with the pandemic, that put a kibosh on a lot of people getting together. I think everybody is very much wanting to get together and do things. Not like 100,000 people, although that's fun, but get to a club, go see a show, and dig on real
Yeah,
music.
dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I miss that. I miss all that live stuff.
Yeah.
A lot.
There's a lot of nostalgia. I mean, I was just at a club down here in downtown Phoenix a couple months ago, and there's a kid in the basement spinning vinyl, and I'm like, what? Like, I've been a DJ for 25 years, and I'm like, I stopped spinning vinyl, 15 years ago because I couldn't buy records anymore.
Right.
The artists weren't putting them out anymore on vinyl. It was only digital, and like, I think there's some of that nostalgia coming back. Some of that, like you said, the analog, right? People. I think the younger generation they're finally getting over that hump of like everything can't be cell phones, everything can't be digital media.
Yeah.
I play pinball a lot too, and there's a lot of kids that play pinball, and it's just I think there's a lot of that stuff that's starting to come back. 70s, kids are dressing like bell bottoms and stuff now.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
think we're going to start to see that that retroactive thing of like everything's in cycles, man.
Yeah.
It's going to come back.
Hey, let me know when the Genco jeans come back out because I got a whole closet full of them. Yeah, baggy pants.
Well, I mean, Chuck, you'd mentioned about this. I mean, it's interesting. I don't know if it's interesting to anyone else. It's kind of interesting to me, in the format that the tracks come over, everything's on a grid now.
Yeah.
And what I found really spooky after going on the first time into a studio in nearly 25 years, was I was like, well, crap, I'm used to sort of punching in and like even on like digital, like I could play along if I screwed up something.
Yeah.
I could just go back, play along with it, and the producer would punch me in. But you still would need to, or the engineer, and you would still kind of need to. You're still shooting for like a single take, right?
Yeah.
Maybe a couple takes, maybe, to get it right, or in my case, 20 takes. So the but when I went in there, like I played through a couple times, played through one of the songs a couple times, and I was tracking maybe 3 times, and then the engineer's like, "Yeah, I think we got everything we need." I was like, "What are you talking about? Like this is none of those takes were worth a crap." Like he's like, "No, just come in and And then of course, 'cause I'm just kind of I didn't keep up with any of these Pro Tools or anything. And he's just like, splicing and moving things and oh, you're a little bit, you're a little bit early on the one here, or, so I'm gonna kind of stretch this out. I'm like, whoa, whoa. So like that itself is kind of a I'm not like a purist, but that itself is kind of it kind of feels weird. It doesn't feel quite right.
Yeah.
Some of the beautiful things about music, as far as I'm concerned, is perhaps, I grew up a punk rock guy. I love punk rock, but I also love mistakes in like
Oh, yeah.
mistakes that I've heard in like you know multi-platinum records
Yeah.
that make the song. I don't want to say make the entire song, but certainly somewhere in the somewhere in the human brain, like you're like, oh yeah, well that's a human,
Yeah.
or the music speeds up because it needs to speed up, or it slows down because it needs to slow down, and sort of so.
In our case, it speeds up and never slows
Yeah,
down.
in our case, live or even on tape, it just speeds up and speeds up, and goes off the rails. But so even in recording of these new songs, like, and even in the production of the songs, we've had to say things like, "Hey, it's okay if the cymbal bleeds into the snare.
Yeah.
It's okay if like something's just like kind of a little bit off. Like that's okay because that's music. Because
Yeah.
that's and I don't know. That could just be because I'm lazy. I'm not sure, or just too old to figure it out. But I think hopefully, some of that starts to come back with bands, understanding like, A, most listeners can't hear, what you think is a foible, right?
Right. Right.
And B, like if they can sense it and you give them something that's too antiseptic, like that's not okay either, because they're gonna notice that whether they like can put a finger on it or not. I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
um I can certainly hear it, and again, and I'm not by any means musical purist at all. Like I just think that there's the human factor. Maybe this is what we're all talking about, is sort of, I sure hope it doesn't go away.
Yeah. So there is hope. I will tell you this, because there's, especially in like kind of garage rock, punk, um, sort of the psychedelic stoner rock, because there's a festival in Ann Arbor called Fuzz Fest. It's been going on for 10 years. Happens at the Blind Pig. But all those bands, there's like
We played
street.
there.
Oh, you guys did?
Yeah. We played
Really?
Blind Pig. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Uh, so anyway, they have like 33 bands, but they're all just like, punk, DIY, garage rock, and and they're all like probably half my age or even younger, but they're all very much in that same vein of like, it's human, it's, there's maybe a little fuck up here and there, it doesn't matter, it's fine, because we're trying to just get the energy and the vibe of
Yeah.
the music out there, as opposed to being perfection. That's part of what I don't like about pop music in general, and especially today, is it's so perfect and
Sterile.
and
It's
sterile.
sterile.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
very
like
sterile.
I might as well listen to my fridge. Like,
Yeah.
even the fridge sounds better when it's dropping ice cubes, because they're kind of random. It's like, cool.
Right. Yeah. A little bit.
I mean, I will say that Jason is he's as much of a he's really particular about what he plays. I would definitely put him in the same boat that we're in, where he doesn't want stuff to be perfect. He wants it to be good.
Yeah. Yeah.
He wants it to be good, and he wants to play it right, and he doesn't want to be sloppy,
Yes.
but he definitely doesn't want antiseptic, and he's very. I mean, if you listen to a lot of the riffs, I mean, he plays a lot of fucking goofy shit that just like you would never expect to come out of it. Where'd that come from? It's
Yeah.
like it's not your atypical stuff, and that doesn't come out of a sterile environment. You can't have like this weirdness just happening, in a bubble or inside a vacuum. With each, I don't know. It's just I mean, yeah, I'm with you guys. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I
I
definitely
like
know.
organic, man. I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, I'll say, like, the new music that I've heard from you guys, like Two Sticks, it's organic. It definitely feels organic and heartfelt, which I think is, what's the word? Authentic. That's another thing that you notice in certain bands. They are, you, you can almost sense it in the music. They're going through the motions. They want a particular sound that they're trying to achieve, and then they execute it. And not necessarily like cookie cutter homogenation, but it comes off as disingenuous. And I would say that your music has got that authenticity that I think is important.
When Jason and I first started working on this material, it was, I mean, the first thing that went through my mind as we're tracking vocals, even the music too, but it really came to light for me, like a light just came on while we were recording, and I'm like, dude, this stuff sounds exactly like us. I mean, I'm so happy that this is 30, 25 years later, and it sounds like us. And that we couldn't have, I mean, I know he's not trying to write riffs that sound like us, but when you put me and him and Matt together and we start putting stuff down, it's like, I think it's unmistakable. I mean, and I know the people watching this are like, who the fuck are these guys? I mean, the people that do know who we are
Right.
like, that it sounds like the new music sounds like we just picked up where the last record left off, and there's a little bit of like mud splatter on the wall of other songs from the past. I mean, I can pick out, like, we have a song right now called yeah, what are the names of our songs, Matt?
Get out of Dodge, maybe you're
Get out
thinking.
of Dodge.
Not get
I
out.
like
Let's
that.
get out of Dodge. Or I was thinking of Head Down, which to me, if you listen to the music, it sounds like it's very Diesel-esque, which was probably our big, that was our song back in the '90s. Oh, we have probably every song that we've done of the 7 that we're putting out now so far. They line up with another song from the past. So it's kind of like this is the big floaty of that record, and this is the the Geronimo of the last record, or I mean,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's like I can line these songs up, and I'm like, it's kind of cool that we have these, and like we'll have like one song like Kamikaze is all Jason. That's everything about that song was Jason. He wrote the lyric, the music, the lyrics, everything, and we just came in and redid it, and that's like Big Floaty. Big Floaty, he did that thing. Which, I mean, I want him to have something for himself. He's writes some cool stuff, man.
That's cool.
He's the best musician I've ever played with. Hands down. Like raw musician. So I mean, and honestly, you don't even, again, to Mitch's point, nobody knows who we are, but in terms of like the songs and stuff, like I mean, it is truly like, if you take out that voice, like of his guitar and how he plays and whatever way that guy thinks, it's just not it's not JC Supercar for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that's cool. And it's I don't know what it speaks to, but it's I guess it's just the essence of you guys, right? It's how you approach your instruments, how you approach your music, still comes through even after how long of a break. It's still you just can't help it. And
I
that's cool.
approached them 50 pounds heavier than him.
You're just throwing
And gingerly.
You're just throwing a little bit more at it, Matt. That's all. Awesome.
Jason is like I mean, he's a guy that woodshedded for the first 22 years of his life. I mean, I don't think he left his house. He just played guitar and studied, like, Yngwie and Steve Vai and Jeff Beck and all those guys.
Allman Brothers, yeah.
But when he started playing, he's playing guys that are like highly schooled, and he's really, he can read, he can read music, he can play music, he can do all that stuff. But when he starts playing, it's just like it's like Allman Brothers and like Blind Melon, for some reason that pops in there, and there's like he should have been in like Queens of the Stone Age or
Frank
something
Zappa.
like that, or Eagles of Death Metal would have been a band that Jason should have been in. He just has a really different, I don't know, man. He comes at stuff differently.
That's awesome.
In every aspect.
Yeah. That's cool.
Not just music.
So
you've got a mustache. You've got a mustache about it's about 9-10 inches long on each side. It's about.
Oh, really? Does he do that?
My fingers aren't on the screen, but it's huge. It's skinny, but it's like a Salvador Dali, like it curls up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
And Salvador Dali is probably a good comparison to how his brain works.
Now that things never changed.
Yeah, he's been that way ever since.
That's cool.
That's how I remember him.
So, so what's so you mentioned potentially working on some other new music or something's being mixed right now. So what's the future looking like for you guys?
We got a song right now that's being mixed. It's called Horseshoes and Hand Grenades, and it's sort of about I'm dropping some names, some Detroit in there. I've got Saginaw in there, and it's sort of a fictional story. But that's the next one coming out. We're working on getting that mixed right now. I guess I got to talk about Matt with that one as far as what we might need to do. But
nice.
I talked to Chuck earlier today. Chuck, the guy mixing it. So we've got a little bit of work to do to get it where it needs to be. But that's the next one. I wish we'd have had it ready to go already, but it's just been hard to get everybody available to get things handled. But it's a cool tune. I mean, I really, it's one of my favorite songs.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know how that'll translate to outside of me, but
Well,
cool. It's a
I
cool
mean,
thing.
yeah, I think the future is a lot like it looks a lot like Mitch badgering Jason dragging his feet, and then eventually sending something, and then Mitch taking the next whatever to throw together lyrics, and then they'll send it to me, and then I'll spend a month trying to get like 10% of my chops back. And
I'm just gonna
then
enlist
my
AI,
wife,
and I'll let AI write all the lyrics. We're good to go, man.
there you go. I like it.
I mean, why fight it?
Yeah.
No, we've got this one, and then we've got horseshoes and hand grenades, and then there's another one that the working title is Vegas Celtic or Celtic, and that one, those are, and then I think Mitch and Jason have another one that I'm not playing on, I don't think, but it's a, so they're probably,
It's
there's
just an
one
acoustic
that's
song.
just about in the can, and then two more that are in process. But it'd be nice, we don't have any real expectations with regard to the music. I think we all just enjoy it, and I think especially now because it's super low pressure for us,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just every time you get to go, for me anyway, every time I get to go record anything, it's kind of like it's a gift I didn't expect to be able to go in there and just spend a couple days like locked in with the music and engineer recording the drums, and then to send it off and then get like versions of it mixed back, and it's wild. These are really crazy days. I mean, the young musicians with energy, they got to be having just an awesome blast right now, because some of the technology is very cool, and I can't even imagine had we had some of that stuff. But yeah, I think we'll do it as long as it makes sense, right, Mitch?
Yeah, I've talked to Jason about it. He's down to keep writing music. I don't think there's any timeline on it. The only timeline is which one of us is going to die of old age first. you know, but I mean, to me, the best thing about all this, the new music, it's just been super cathartic for me because I spent like, probably 10 years of my life, after the band broke up. I just went on a horribly self-destructive period, and being able to like kind of like bring that all back together with Jason, and kind of like mending some relationships, and just working on music that was, it was never intended to be anything more than just, let's just put this together and kind of button up things that we had started, and, heal some friendships and all that stuff. And the timing of everything just worked out well, because we'd be writing these songs, and I'm like, man, these are fucking good. I mean, I think these are really good.
Yeah.
And I mean, like Two Sticks, has ended up being probably our the best. I don't know to say the best song, but it's done the best on like the streaming platforms. We've got like 400 some thousand views um on YouTube, and 250 some thousand streams on Spotify, which I never in my wildest dreams I think we'd have that many streams.
Yeah.
We've got around 1 million streams of that song right now if you take all of our social media together, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty fucking cool, man.
That is cool.
And it's like I never thought it would be that, but it never would have gotten there without certain people. I mentioned Spark Street Entertainment, and that's our friend Mike Sherwood, and another friend of ours, Chris Betts, who you've been talking with.
Mm-hmm.
Both of those guys have just worked their asses off to really, I mean, even this show, we wouldn't even be on the show if it wasn't for Chris, because Chris is just like, you guys this is a great show, man. You got to get on. This guy's awesome, and I love the show. And he watches you all the time. And I'm like, man, I don't know. I'm like, I don't even know how to be on a show. I don't even know. I look weird. I look weird on. It's like I look at myself like when people hear themselves on the answering machine. I'm like, that's what I feel like when I look at myself on the TV. Like, so it's just like, we came out, we wrote these songs, and they turned out better than I had ever expected them to be. And I've mended my relationship with Jason, and that's awesome. And me and Matt have we've been friends ever since. But it just, I don't know, it started off one way, and then I just happened to, I called Mike Sherwood out of the blue one day and was just like, hey, what are you up to, man? I'm like, he's like, dude, you called me at a crazy time. He's like, you know, 'cause as I'm like, you know, I said, we don't know how to navigate this streaming stuff anymore. I'm like, what do you do? I mean, before I would just call up a record store or I'd call up the radio station and I just bug them until they finally just, gave in. Just stop. If I played, will you stop calling me? So he's like, and Mike was like, he's going through a career change, and Mike was with Universal and Warner Brothers, and for like the last 25 years that he's with Universal Music Group, and he was working with bands like Green Day was one of his big acts, and like Celine Dion and Green Day were his two top acts, I believe.
Crazy.
And he's like, we're starting a new company. He's like the timing couldn't be any better. He's like, so I need a new band to start from scratch. He's like, you guys want to be my guinea pig? I'm like, fuck yeah. So I mean, this is all those guys do. They took us from. I mean, we didn't start putting out this music till it was October.
Wow, really?
October of 24.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
I mean, we got up to right around 50,000 monthly listeners on Spotify for a minute with when 2.6 was kind of at its peak, and I'm just like, wow, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know?
Yeah, hell
You
yeah.
know, I mean, we definitely we need to go tour Brazil because
Yeah.
that's our bread and butter right there.
Yeah.
Brazil, those are people.
Brazil
Man.
and Chile. Yeah, those are
Yeah.
the big ones for us.
Yeah.
Heck
Brazil loves music. Those people, they love
Gosh, man.
music. Yeah. Yeah. Hell yeah.
I would love to go there. I'm waiting for them to call me about a festival, and I'll put the band out there.
Hell yeah.
Jason already said his wife would definitely go on. She would go to Brazil if we got asked to go play a festival in Brazil, and I'm like, don't say that shit because I will make some.
Yeah,
phone
no
calls,
shit.
dude.
Yeah. You gotta make it happen. That would be great.
Man. Like I'll be making phone calls.
Awesome.
You know?
Yeah. Well, guys, I want to thank you so much for being on Fans of Bands. I've got one last question, and this needs to go around the horn to everyone. But I'm going to start with Mitch and Matt, and that is pineapple or no pineapple on pizza? Mitch.
Oh, absolutely. I love bacon and actual bacon, not Canadian bacon.
Yeah.
The Canadians don't get it. It's real bacon and pineapple. I love it. It's one of my favorite pizzas.
Awesome.
Pineapple for sure. Pineapple and pepperoni.
Nice. Nice.
Greg?
Greg,
no
how about-
pineapple, but the bacon, yes.
All right. Excellent. How about Chris Johnson?
Oh man, y'all are freaking weird, dude. No, I tell my son likes pineapple on pizza. I would tell him all the time he's not mine. So screw that. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Like beans and chili, man.
Chris Askin, how about you?
Mine would be, pineapple for sure, with
Yeah,
ham
man.
and real bacon. That's the way you have to have it.
Yeah,
That's just so delicious.
you gotta have the bacon. It's gotta have real bacon though. You can have ham too, but it's gotta have real bacon, man. That's what sells it right there.
And I think Chris Betts, you're muted, but how about you?
Yeah, I don't know. I could probably do without it. I'll eat it, but I won't choose to. I won't choose it from the store.
Yeah, I'm with you. And Chris, is it Poping?
Chris is a Marine. They don't do that bacon. They don't do that pineapple full of
Yeah.
shit.
Chris Pepping, what about you?
In moderation.
So we can't even do a tie break. He gives us the moderation.
Oh man, come on. Oh Lord. Well, guys, again, thank you so much for being on Fans of Bands. I appreciate it.
Chuck, thanks for having us. We really
man.
appreciate it. And hey, guys,
That's
thanks for joining us here.
Yes, if you ever
Good
need
seeing you.
to
Love
go
you
to
guys.
Brazil, I'm there.
Awesome seeing you guys, man. All the Christmas, man, all in one place.
Rocking.
Awesome.
Hey, and Chuck,
Guys,
too.
take care.
Get back with me. I want to see you talking about some kind of Detroit music thing. I'd like to talk to you about that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I'll just put it out there because this will go out next week. So
Okay.
it's August 17th. It's at Guitar HiFi, which is in Royal Oak, and it's from 12 to 4, something like that. So it starts at 12, but it's basically a Detroit music scene mixer. So some folks that I've been involved with trying to just like help solidify the Detroit music scene and music scenes around Michigan. And so it's just a bunch of people that are either in bands or are tangentially associated with the music industry. So like I do like some concert photography. I also do a nonprofit for visual artists that are involved in Michigan music. So that's what it is. And if you're in the area or anybody's going to be in Michigan around then, stop in. It's open to everybody.
I live here now.
All right. Yeah, cool. It'd be great to meet you in person, man.
Yeah, let's hook up, man.
All right, cool. All right,
Thanks, Chuck.
yeah, thank you guys so much. Take care.
You guys.
Talk to you later.
Later, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Many thanks to Matt and Mitch from Jesus Chrysler Supercar for joining me on this episode of Fans with Bands. And a big shout out to all the fans named Chris, plus Greg, for joining us. It was a blast talking with these guys about the history of Jesus Chrysler Supercar, and more importantly, their new music. I think it's great that after such a long break, they have come back and haven't lost a step. I'm looking forward to the new tunes, and if you happen to be in the Detroit area, stop by Guitar HiFi in Royal Oak on Sunday, August 17th from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. for the Detroit Music Scene Mixer. And perhaps we'll get to chat with Mitch from Jesus Chrysler Supercar in person. See the show notes for all the details and links. Bands are nothing without you, the fans. Purchasing music and merchandise is critical to their survival. If you can help out your favorite bands, please do. If you're in Michigan, consider following the Playing in Detroit Area Tonight and SE for Southeast Michigan Music Facebook pages. They are fantastic places for fans and bands to support each other and share our combined love of music. Thank you all so much for listening. Be sure to hit subscribe on your favorite podcast service to get each and every episode of Fans with Bands. Spread the word by rating the show, telling your friends, telling your neighbors, telling your family, telling your priest, tell everyone, and leave a comment. We want to hear what you think. You can keep in touch by following us on social media. This is a Life in Michigan production. Until next time, be well and kick out the jams.